I know what you're thinking. Harry Potter's let himself go. I know what you're thinking. Peter Parker's let himself go. I know what you're thinking. Richard Keel, the cult James Bond villain actor, who played Jaws firstly in The Spy Who Loved Me in 1977 and again in Moonraker in 1979, has let himself go and dropped in height by 1.5 feet and lost his gold teeth. I know what you're thinking. A popular culture character that I think that you think I look vaguely like, but I don't really. It's all for the purposes of hackney joke construction. Has let himself go. Last one. I know what you're thinking. Actually, no, I don't. For as much as we try to connect to each other through meaningless sex and social networking sites, we are all truly alone, trapped forever and ever in our own subjective universes. Until the day we die. Good evening, Norwich! Bring it on! Bring it on again! Bring it on, in it to win it! Bring it on, nothing to lose! Bring it on, fight to the finish! Another direct-to-DVD title to the hit teen interracial comedy, Bring It On! Which I shouldn't know about, but I do, because I see them on Amazon, and I look at them in HMV longingly. Whenever I do buy anything in HMV, the person behind the counter always asks, thanks very much, did you find everything that you're looking for? And I think to myself, well, you know, love, money, a career, the odd sexual encounter. Some of them would be very odd. No. But this direct-to-DVD copy of Donnie Darko with no special features will have to do in the meantime then, won't it? So, it's great to be back in Norwich. Thanks for going along with my initial ruse. There's a very thin line between pretending to be a shit comedian and fulfilling expectations. I'd like to point out I'm not actually a priest. I get mistaken for a priest. There are similarities. I dress in black. I'm celibate, not by choice, and I read large books filled with fictional characters. I do strong opinions there on the old religion. I mean, the problem is over in Ireland now there's a blasphemy law. I don't know, has anyone heard of it? Apart from the people who saw me last night. There's a blasphemy law in Ireland, so if you blaspheme in Ireland, you get fined €25,000. So it's great to be over in the UK where I can say truthfully and unequivocally that God's a cunt. And I save myself €25,000. Like for me, it's like I'm making €25,000, so I like to save a lot. God's a cunt. Now it's factually accurate. Either God exists, in which case he's a cunt, obviously, or he doesn't exist, and then it doesn't really matter. Reasons why God's a cunt include things like Harlequin's disease, the boy's skin fell off, the elephant man. You know, people like that. Like, I mean, you've got a whole batch of perfect humans. God just closes his eyes and gets a spanner and throws it behind him, and whoever lands on gets a horrible disease. I saw a program recently about the Elephant Man, and it was one of those like extreme body shock things. It was called The Real Elephant Man, and it was about a Mexican who's about 33. But as we all know, the real Elephant Man is the real Elephant Man. You don't really need another program about the Elephant Man. But you know, a lot of reasons God's cunt include the fact that Stephen King's going slowly blind, one of the most prolific authors of the 20th century, and God just decides, I know what I'll do, I'll make him go slowly blind, and it can't be cured. I have a lot in common with Stephen King. You know, he used to drink a lot, I drink a lot. He has no memory of writing Cujo. I have no memory of writing Cujo. I saw about 10 minutes of the film. It's just a dog. Just stay in the car. You don't need to, you know, it's not that horrifying. But yeah, so it's quite difficult. Over in Ireland, I do like a number of things that I kind of obviously it's bad times. Like it's not so much the wolf is at the door. It's that my door is made entirely out of dead wolves. I've got a tiny bale of all the final straws, and I dug a sort of a trough so I live in even lower ebb. And then I got 3 candles and melted them at the bottom and put them together so I can burn the candles at 3 ends, because I, you know, teach, used to work in a bar and write comedy and stuff. And it's very weird when you're teaching kids. There used to be an ad on TV saying, work with the most inquisitive people on earth. And they are inquisitive. They ask me questions like, who the fuck are you? Is this shit over yet? do you want to buy some drugs? Those sort of questions. And it's quite difficult, obviously. I was quite nervous teaching, and I got a Paul McKenna tape about how to overcome the confidence thing. And he says, like, imagine the people you're talking to, imagine that they're smaller and they've got silly haircuts and they've got silly voice. It's like, that's what kids look like anyway. I can't really do much. I have to dispel myths for them as well, like tell them things like banshees aren't real, the Blair Witch isn't real, and Lady Gaga doesn't have a penis. The sort of common myths of kids. I would like to exclusively point out that Lady Gaga, in fact, does have a penis, but only in my masturbatory fantasies. Yeah, I'm quite interested in diverse sexualities and things like that. And it's quite difficult whenever you talk about transgenderism. There's always like someone, there's always some fat bloke in the pub going, sex change. Oh, sex change. If I had a sex change, I'd stay in all day and wank and play with my tits. I go, that's what you do anyway. You don't really need a psychologically troubling and expensive operation for that. So it's quite. I am single, by the way. You know. But we all are in the end, so don't worry about it. Even if it's a sort of suicide pact thing, you've got a couple of minutes of knowing you're going to die and you're single. It's quite difficult, you know, being a geeky sort of single person. Even when, like, around Halloween time, generally, you know, the way people dress up. Like, one girl came up to me once and kind of like dressed up and said, like, I'm Catwoman. She dressed up as Catwoman, and all I could go is like, which Catwoman are you? Are you Eartha Kitt, or Michelle Pfeiffer, or Halle Berry, or Tito Lorenzo, the 30-year-old Hawaiian guy who was the stunt double for Catwoman? Turned out it was him. So it is quite difficult. Another one was one girl was dressed up and she said, like, I'm Superwoman. And I said, well, I think you're probably either Supergirl or Wonder Woman. So, you know, you're not really Superwoman. That doesn't really exist as a character. Apart from one issue where Lois Lane got the powers of Superman temporarily, which is not strictly canon. You probably all know this. But you know, it is quite difficult. I do, you know, people call me a chronic masturbator, and that, you know, that really makes me angry because I'm really good at it. And whenever people say that, you know, I get really angry. I'm about to hit the roof. Well, in my younger days, you know, I can still manage over the shoulder at a push. You know. But it's quite weird. Like, I used to, you know, I've got what I call porn fatigue. I watch pornography too much, and you know, you've got like, you know, 3-ways and 4-ways and stuff happening in the foreground, and I'm just like craning my neck, not to see any sexual action, but to see what you've got on his bookshelf. I had that book. That's a very nice coffee table he has there, and some really horrible pieces of contemporary art that he bought since the Weapons of Mass Destruction 3.